10 expert tips to conquer range anxiety in electric cars. Renewable thought of the day.
Ever been bitten by the range anxiety bug in your electric vehicle? Well, fret no more. Yes, we're talking about that pesky little critter that gnaws at your peace of mind, making you wonder if you'll make it to the next charging station. It's the infamous range anxiety, an all too familiar foe for electric vehicle owners worldwide. But before you start picturing a gremlin sabotaging your eco-friendly ride, let's clarify. Range anxiety isn't a mythological creature, but rather a real concern for electric vehicle drivers. It's that nagging worry that your car's battery will run out of juice before you reach your destination, or a charging station. Now, we're not here to add fuel to the fire, quite literally. Instead, we're here to arm you with an arsenal of tips and tricks to conquer this anxiety. We're about to turn you into a range warrior, ready to outsmart any battery blues. So buckle up, charge up, and let's get this show on the road.
Would it be okay with you if I asked you to please listen closely? We have an extra surprise for you, if you stay until the end.
Yes! Yes!
Let's gear up to squash this bug, shall we? Tip number 1, be a scout. Always be prepared. You wouldn't go on a camping trip without packing a tent, right? The same principle applies to electric vehicle journeys. Before you even think about hitting the road, you should already know where your charging stations are. It's like mapping out your pit stops. Now you might be thinking, but I'm not a scout. Well, neither am I. But the idea here is to be prepared. Like a scout, you're out there exploring the world. But in this case, you're doing it in an eco-friendly way. Planning your journey with charging stations in mind is like packing your essentials for a camping trip. It's about ensuring that you're ready for whatever the journey throws at you. So, do your homework, map your route, and identify your charging stations. So, be a scout and never be caught off guard. Time for tip number 2, know thy chariot. In the grand quest of conquering range anxiety, it's crucial to familiarize yourself with your electric vehicle's range. Your chariot's range isn't just a number on a dashboard, oh no, it's a magical figure. A dance between technology and the elements, fluctuating based on driving conditions. Think of it as the number of miles your electric stallion can gallop before it needs to stop for a sip of electric nectar. Uphill travels, heavy foot on the accelerator, or even a chilly day can impact this. So, getting to know your electric vehicle, understanding its quirks and temperament, can make the difference between a smooth ride and a nail-biting one. So get cozy with your vehicle's manual or take it out for a few spins to truly understand its range. Remember, knowledge is power, or in this case, range. On to tip number 3, break it to make it. Now don't be alarmed, we're not suggesting you go around slamming on the brakes. We're talking about regenerative braking, a clever system that turns your electric vehicle into a self-charging dynamo. Here's how it works. Normally, when you brake, all that kinetic energy from your moving vehicle is just wasted as heat. But with regenerative braking, the electric motor switches roles and becomes a generator. This means that when you brake, instead of wasting that energy, it gets converted into electricity and sent back to the battery. It's like having a little power station on wheels. So, in essence, every time you slow down, you're giving your battery a mini recharge. It's like your car is saying, thanks for the brake, I'll just take a quick sip of energy. Who knew braking could be so productive? So break it to make it, folks. And now tip number 4, slow and steady wins the race. Let's talk about speed, or rather, the lack of it. You see, when it comes to maximizing your electric vehicle's range, the old tortoise had it right. Speeding down the highway might give you a thrill, but it's also a surefire way to drain your battery faster than you can say eco-friendly. Here's why. Wind resistance increases exponentially as speed rises. It's like trying to run through a brick wall. The faster you go, the harder it is. And guess what? Your electric vehicle's motor has to work overtime to overcome this aerodynamic drag. So while you're living out your race car driver fantasies, your battery is crying out for mercy. It's simple, folks. Keep your speed in check, cruise at moderate speeds, and your battery will thank you. Remember, haste makes waste of your battery charge. For our 5th tip, let's talk about setting the mood in your car. Now, don't get any wild ideas. We're talking about preconditioning your car. This is one of those smart tips that can help you get more miles out of your electric vehicle's battery. You see, most electric vehicles allow you to heat or cool the cabin and the battery pack before you start driving. It's like setting the mood for a romantic dinner, but instead of candles, you're using your car's built-in controls. This means that your car won't have to use as much energy to regulate the temperature once you're on the road. It's a bit like having your cake and eating it too, but with less guilt and more energy savings. So remember, just like preparing for a date, a little bit of preparation goes a long way in your electric vehicle. So set the mood, save some energy. Time for tip number 6. Be cool, or warm, but just enough. Now imagine this. You're in your electric car, it's a hot summer day, and you're about to crank up the AC. But wait, did you know that the heating and air conditioning systems in EVs can sip a significant amount of power from the battery pack? That's right. Maximizing your driving range could be as simple as being a little less chill. The same goes for those cold winter days. Sure, no one wants to feel like a popsicle, but cranking up the heat to tropical levels might just leave you stranded in the middle of a snowstorm. So what's the solution? Well, consider using the AC or heating just enough to keep comfortable. Opt for seat warmers or fans instead of blasting the cabin temperature. So folks, remember, comfort is key, but so is range. And now, tip number 7, charge smart, not hard. Picture this. You're a night owl, thriving in the twilight hours. Just like you, your electric vehicle can also benefit from this nocturnal schedule. Charging during off-peak hours, when the electricity demand is low, can save you some serious coin. Think of it as your car's beauty sleep. While you're dreaming of electric sheep, your vehicle is sipping on that sweet, sweet energy, at a fraction of the cost. But let's not forget the early birds. If you're a dawn riser, you're in luck, as the wee hours of the morning can also be off-peak times in some regions. So, whether you're a night owl, an early bird, or somewhere in between, remember, it's not about flexing your charging muscles at high noon, it's about timing your charge for when the grid is resting. Remember, it's not about charging hard, it's about charging smart. Moving on to tip number 8, lighten up. You know how you feel lighter and more energetic when you shed those extra pounds? Well, your electric vehicle feels the same way. Every bit of unnecessary weight you remove from your car helps to maximize its range. Think of it like this. Would you rather run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks or without it? Your electric vehicle's answer is a resounding without it. So it's time to clear out the trunk, get rid of any unnecessary items, and let your electric car breathe a sigh of relief. And remember, this isn't just about physical weight. It's also about the weight of energy-consuming features. Do you really need that heated seat on a warm day? Probably not. So lighten the load on your battery too. So folks, lighten up and go the extra mile. For our 9th tip, let technology be your guide. In this modern era, who needs a compass when you have apps and maps? And before you ask, no, I'm not talking about pirate treasure maps, although those would be quite exciting, wouldn't they? What we're discussing here is a treasure hunt of a different kind, one that leads you to the gold mine of electric vehicle charging stations. Yes, you heard it right. There are numerous smartphone applications and navigation systems designed specifically to help you locate charging stations. These techie tools are your personal scouts, always on the lookout for the nearest power pit stop. They not only help you find stations along your route, but also give you that peace of mind, knowing you're not going to be stranded in the middle of nowhere, desperately trying to flag down a passing horse and carriage. So let technology guide you to a worry-free journey. And finally, tip number 10, practice makes perfect. You know what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your eco-friendly driving habits. But don't worry, we're not asking you to construct a whole city here. Just a few minor adjustments to your driving style can go a long way. Think of it as a game, where the high score is the most miles per charge. Every time you use regenerative braking, instead of slamming on the brakes, you notch up points. Driving at moderate speeds instead of pushing your electric vehicle to its limits, that's a big score. Preconditioning your car, minimizing AC and heating usage, maintaining a smart charging schedule, avoiding unnecessary weight, and using apps and maps to plan your journey. All these are your power-ups in this game. The more you play, the better you get. And soon, range anxiety will be a thing of the past. So remember, good habits keep the range anxiety bug at bay. And that, my friends, is how you squash the range anxiety bug. Let's do a quick recap of our electric journey. Remember, plan your route like a seasoned explorer, knowing every charging station as if it were your favorite coffee shop. Get on personal terms with your car's range and use regenerative braking. It's like your car's superpower, harnessing energy while you drive. Avoid being a speed demon unless you're in a race with a tortoise. Precondition your car, because who doesn't love a comfortable ride? Minimize the use of AC and heating. Think of it as a game of, how efficient can I be? Maintain a smart charging schedule and save some bucks. Keep your car light and nimble, avoiding unnecessary weight. Use apps, maps, and yes, your brain to avoid running out of battery. And above all, make energy saving a habit. So drive smart, laugh hard, and let's keep that range anxiety bug squashed.
So, hey, look, thanks for watching Go Green Hub. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Any kind of comments, just let us know down there in the comments, and we'll get your answers back to it. Subscribe, like, Have a fantastic day, and I hope you choose to save the planet.
And don't forget, we have a surprise for you. Yay, surprise! Hey, out there, we would like to give away one of these coffee cups or a Go Green Hub water bottle. Anyway, we're going to give away one, so let us know if you're interested. Give us a comment, and we will draw for one free coffee cup or Go Green Hub water bottle. Yes, the Go Green Hub is the go-to source for all things of sustainable energy and transportation.